In this video, traders, let's look at what does simplify your trading really mean. Stay tuned. Hey traders, warm welcome to you. Right, so many times you hear this, simplify your trading, you should be simplifying it, simplify that. And it sounds good, right? And absolutely we should, but what does it really mean? What does simplify your trading really mean? So I've got a few points here that I think are well worth attacking if you are on a mission to simplify your trading. All right, so the first thing is kind of self-explanatory, and really I think this is the place where most people will start, which is to clear your charts and your screen. So that doesn't necessarily mean zero indicators. I think that's a fallacy. You don't have to have no indicators. There are definitely advantages to reading just price, but there are many people out there who use indicators profitably, successfully, and have no problems with them. So we're not saying get rid of everything, but what we're saying here is just clear back to the stuff that you really want. And this could be the same as someone who knows use no indicators, right? You've seen charts where they've got all these key levels, like 5 or 6 key levels in a day. It's like, well, you're not going to use all of them. Trim them back and be very, very clear. What are the best key levels? 2 key levels you can do business at. What's the one, maybe 2 indicators that you need and that you suppress them when you're not kind of ready to pull the trigger? What are the time frames you're looking at? You don't need to be looking at 10 different time frames. You can use 2. You can use 1. You can use a 4 system and just use 2 at the beginning, come down to 2. What else is on your screen? Do you really need that Twitter feed? Do you really need that news feed? Do you really need this, that, and the other? Clear things down, simplify the process. There aren't many guys out there who have longevity in the market who have got such a complex system and all this stuff. It's very, very simple for most people. So why not emulate that and simplify things? And also it helps you learn and improve when you've got rid of all this clutter out of your vision and you can see clearly what you're trying to decipher and what you're trying to interpret. Price, that makes life so much easier than trying to interpret this indicator, that news, and trying to put it all in together and make a decision. It's like, hey, there's one thing to make a decision here. Fine. Next thing is a simple trading strategy. So whilst we can't go so simple like and ineffective, like, I don't know, if price goes up 1% buy, that's a simple trading strategy, but how effective is it? So we're gonna have some efficacy and quality to it, but we don't want to go too complicated and we have multiple if-then statements. Well, if this is up this, and crude oil's doing this, and gold's down, and Bitcoin's this, and the RSI's there, CCI's there, Bollinger Band's this, Bollinger Band width's that, we've got a squeeze signal, we've got a paint bar on this doji. It's just silly, right? It's just silly and it's just overcomplicating it. So simplicity doesn't mean ineffective, but it just means, hey, I look for extended markets to mean revert. That's simple, right? You might have intricacies of how you find that, but it's a simple strategy. Or I look to jump on momentum as early as possible and ride it for the next 3 legs, whatever it may be. I'm just making stuff on the top of my head, but you get the point. It's like there's a simplicity to it. Yes, there might be some complexity to the actual execution of the program and of the strategy and the system, but it's a simply defined process. It's not like, I trade breakouts on crude oil, I pair trade Apple against Tesla, I like to look at the bond curve, I like to trade spreads across, no. Just simplify stuff. You can add complexity later. A low noise environment. So you might think, oh, does this mean your desk and stuff? And I guess it can, right? You want to kind of simplify things and declutter your desk and have your notepad on there if you're trading via that, and your screen. And maybe you don't need 12 screens, maybe you just need the 4 or 2. That's one thing. But it's also noise environment, as in, hey, I'm on this chat room, I'm in this membership, I'm in this, that, and the other. I've got this course, I've got that course, I've got this YouTube guide plan, I've got this podcast, and blah, blah, blah. That's okay. And, as someone who's obviously got some podcasts for you guys and YouTube and has a community, you won't hear many people saying this, but don't listen to everybody. And if that means not listening to me, that's absolutely fine. I'd rather you come back 2 years down the line and go, you know what, I stopped listening to you, I liked some of the stuff you did, but I found it a lot of noise, and I just focused on this one guy, or this one girl, or this one book, or I got rid of everything completely, I knuckled down, I squirreled away, I came back and I'm profitable. That's a win. To me, that's exactly what you should be doing. And so just be careful that there's a lot of great content out there. There's a lot of duff content as well, of course there is, and I've done my fair share of videos that aren't the highest quality, I know, but there's some good content out there. And you've got to be careful you're not completely swamped with it. The way that I like to approach it is, okay, what am I working on specifically at the moment? Okay, I'm working on X. So let me get resources that help me do X, rather than let me get anything that I find interesting, because you might find someone talking about scaling up, you might find someone about trading on tilt, this strategy, kind of option strategy, long-term portfolio management, all this kind of stuff, and you're like, it's all interesting because we all love trading, right? But we never really get anywhere. We kind of go, oh, and then we forget it. So a focused approach and saying, okay, well, hey, I want to learn as much as I can about trend trading. And then you kind of seek out all the people you think are worth listening to on that. And then you maybe go quiet for a bit and you absorb it and you interact and you come back again. And that's quite a good way, I think, of interacting with things. It's a low noise environment. Less screen time. Absolutely simplifying trading. If you go, hey, I'm going to trade in these hours, the rest of the time I'm going to observe, I'm going to adapt, I'm going to assess, and I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to let the experience of screen and price soak into my subconscious, because I don't have any more coming in. So just have less screen time. Just think about it. Just simplify that learning process. More focused learning process. I kind of alluded to that a little bit and saying, okay, focus on one thing you're trying to improve and then go out and seek knowledge for that. I think that's a good way of doing it. I don't say that's the right way, but that's the way that I like to operate. Like, okay, I really want to push this quarter on more size. Let's go and seek out people who I think I've got interesting points to make, and then compile all those and then decide how to move forward. So seek the answers, seek the knowledge, look at it, discard a lot of it, get the stuff that's valuable, formulate a plan for me, move forward. What's the next thing we can do? And that kind of iterative process, I think is good. And the clear vision and goals of where you want to be as a trader. No point saying just some number, some profitability number, or this and that. The other. It's okay, I want to be at a point where I have my discipline dialed in. I've got these playbooks sorted out, I've got my strategies, got this, I've got that by the end of Q4. Great. Clear vision, clear goals. You know that anything else that comes into to derail that or is something different, you're like, that's okay, that's interesting. I like the way that guy scalps gold. I like that strategy, but I'm not there at the moment. I'm looking to these 1 to 3 day swing plays in stocks that have had a catalyst. That's what I'm focusing on. That's my business model at the moment. Let me shelve that, stick it in a folder for another time and focus on this. And because you've got that vision, you're not going to get derailed by this shiny object syndrome. Okay guys, what does simplify your trading really mean? Those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Always appreciate your guys' feedback. Thank you for your support. Take care. Bye bye.